Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, race fans. We are live here at the Brickyard 400 with the Major Series hosting 160 laps of NASCAR style car racing. Taking a look at the track conditions right now. Stock car oval, it's 4.04 kilometers, it's exactly 2.5 miles around. It's in Indianapolis in the United States, famously the home of both the Indy 500 and the Brickyard 400. Temperature is 35 right now, and looks like it's going to be slightly cloudy. Not looking at any rain, though. All right, you can take a look at our upcoming schedule here. The European Majors will be hosting the Laguna Seca GP on August 30th, the Adelaide 250 on September 26th, and the Miami Grand Prix October 18th, and the championship finale on November 6th.
Kind of a shit burnout you did there, Austin. I think you need to do better in the
Here's our
race.
Sim Science Grand Prix Europe results. This was from Watkins Glen. I was told by one of the producers that they haven't had a chance to get the team standings updated. So here are your driver standings. Here are the Majors Euro standings. Austin O'Neill presently leading. Michael Haffeldison in second place. Daniel Thomas, Jeff Schmeier, Gary Thomas, Matthew Crisp, Jonas Gunnarsson, David H. Baker, David Braun, Tom Dreiling, Oscar Moten. Sorry, the print's a little small here. That's all I'm dealing with. And Haken Schott. So right now you're watching the European Majors Series here. My producer is listed there, so he may jump in and jump out as he sees fit. And the Americas Major Series races at the same location tonight at it'll be at 5 p.m. It'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern. So look forward to that with Dakota LaRue and Blue Carl working together. All right, we're looking like we're ready to go here just shortly since practice is over. All right, here is your starting grid. Austin O'Neill is on the pole, followed by Michael Hafledison. Gary Batten is inside row 2, Sam Harper in row P4. P5 is Daniel Thomas, 6th place is Sebastian Jackson, 7th is Brian Scrivener, 8th is Jeff Schmeier, 9 is Wayne Hutchinson, 10 will be Jonas Gunnarsson, David Braun in 11th place, David H. Baker starting on the outside of row 6. Wayne Hutchinson starting outside the row 7. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm reading the same stuff. It just cycled up. Okay, Brandon Cuxhausen and Hayden Cuxhausen starting next to each other in row 7. Bill Daly, Gary Thomas starting in row 8. And to finish things out, Michael Hogg and Robert Love finishing out row 9. Pulling away on the first of our pace laps right now. This is different. NASCAR style racing is quite a bit different than many of the races so far that I've worked with the Major Series, all being endurance races. However, I grew up watching NASCAR as well as IndyCar. I pretty much watched any motor racing I could find. So looking forward to calling this with all the people out here. And anyone out there on YouTube land, feel free to jump in the chat and participate. I've got that pulled up as well, so I'd love to hear from you. Here's Hayden Cuxhausen in the American Dew livery. That's a loud livery. You wouldn't lose that in a snowstorm. Here's Austin O'Neill, our present championship leader. He is starting on pole. Expect big things from him today. I'm assuming that if he's on pole, he is He strikes me, as near as I can tell, as one of the throwback racers on iRacing right now. If Mario Andretti had had access to iRacing, and he could just jump behind the wheel of any style of car and be successful. Here's Michael Hafledison sitting on the outside of row 1. Lights are out on the pace car, so I'm assuming we're going green this time by. Pace car is off. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Green flag waves. We'll see them fan out as they try and find position and going into turn 1. Here comes O'Neill down to the inside, along with Hafledison right on his side panel. Down through the short chute into turn 2. I'll be able to get single file. Hafledison can get the toe on the back stretch. Already filing out into single file, much like they tend to do in the real world. Presently, O'Neill putting a few car lengths between him and Hafledison. Down the other short chute through turn 4, head back onto the straightaway. As we'll be coming down what they call the tunnel at Indianapolis, because on either side there's huge grandstands that are totally filled. First lap is complete. Austin O'Neill will be scored the leader. Okay. A little further back, we have Gary Batten presently running third. Working the draft on Hafledison. Could be looking for a chance to go around as they come out of turn 4. Taking a little look inside, get a little clean air, a little more aero for the run. Right on his back bumper as much as he can be right now. And that's advantageous for O'Neill, because O'Neill will be stepping out quite a ways. Taking a look at onboard here on your inset with Gary Batten. And right there you see why they call it the tunnel. With the grandstands on either side, it's like driving through a canyon, a concrete canyon. Batten really getting down on those rumble strips, making use of every inch of the track right there. Slowly closing the gap, it appears, just judging by the interval on the timing tower on the left hand of your screen. The other part he could be doing too is understanding it's a 160 lap race, just chilling out, saving some fuel so that he can have a different strategy if something happens and caution comes out. Right here we see Brian Scrivener making a move to the inside. Well, looks like he was trying to make a move to the inside, but wound up getting some aero wash across the front of his car. Caused him to have to drift wide and lift out. It looks like it's only a moment or two before he is able to make the move on Thomas, because he's got a good run right here. Got the inside line. Clears him without any difficulty this time. Daniel Thomas looking like he may be having some difficulty, whether it's car setup or he's encountered a problem. He's going, well, he looks like he may be going backwards right now, because here comes Jackson looking for a run on him as well. We're looking to go on board with Sebastian Jackson here in just a moment, although Jackson seems to be under attack from Schmeier. Up front, according to the scoring pylon, Batten has gotten around half of the distance for second place. See here the Schmeiers giving Jackson just a bit more breathing room than he had. But we'll see how long that lasts. You see Jackson drifting way out from the onboard here on Schmeier. Definitely not rotating the car as well as he would like into the turns. We'll take a look at a replay right here for Batten taking over second place over Halfledison. Nice run, and we saw Halfledison with a wiggle at one point. Gives him the opportunity, gives Garen Batten the opportunity to get around him without issue. Gets the preferred line here. Takes a look all the way down the stretch. Clears him easily. Here we have Jeff Schmeier again working on Thomas. Closing the gap. We'll take a look at Thomas's line here. He really does get down on the curbing there, and that was put in about 1992. Previously there had been the wide open, what they called the apron below the yellow line, the white line, where cars would often get down and try and take a deeper line. But without the apron there, they've actually added rumble strips right along there, so it's very similar to curbing that you would see on the apex of corners somewhere on a road course or even a street course. Lets drivers know that they're awfully close to getting in the grass, and all of us know that when you get into the grass, you tend to quickly find a wall of other cars in rather catastrophic fashion. Here's Bill Daly in 15th, moved up one position from the starting position of 16th. Working on the 19 car of Thomas. Yes, indeed, it is Hayden Cuxhausen. He was running about a second and, about about 7/10 of a second off of the leader. You see everyone staying in a tight line until they get the opportunity to pass. Here at Indianapolis, unlike the high banked ovals, it's really necessary to do that during the turn, because unlike, say, Daytona or Talladega, these cars rotate in a completely different fashion without the banking to essentially stick them to the ground through the laws of physics. Car setup becomes very important. And what we'll see is, like we did earlier, someone who has a difficulty rotating out, they can get eaten alive by another car. Looking back from Brandon Cuxhausen at the 36 car of Daly. He appears to be under attack. Alright, here's Robert Love in the 613. Clever that he's using Love's travel style livery, with his plastic being what it is. Looked like he was under attack from Baker. Baker seems to be having trouble holding the line all the way through. And some of the things that you'll see during the course of a Brickyard 400 type race is the fact that some of these guys are set up for better cornering speeds and don't have quite the straight line speed. These guys can adjust their driving style to it. A lot of times they get that straight line speed back. The other thing that may be happening is they're set up to get looser as the race wears on. Dale Earnhardt famously did that when he won his first Brickyard 400 in 1995. And the old adage, a lot of times at Indianapolis, still holds true. Loose is fast. Back with Jeff Schmeier. That is a menacing livery he's running today. Yeah, really like that matte black with the racing stripe, aqua racing stripe. He's presently under attack by Gunnarsson. Yep, Jonas Gunnarsson. Let's see, Gunnarsson working a little wider line. He could be doing that intentionally to get a run on, get some momentum built up to get a run on Schmeier. You see Schmeier not getting clear down on that rumble strip like I spoke about. That typically means that the car is running a little tight, isn't turning as well as a driver would like. You see Gunnarsson right on his rear bumper right now. Into the brakes a little bit. That's why we saw the backfire from the car. As soon as he can get a run, I would expect him to try and take it. The track position is very, very important, even at this stage in the race. One of the things that happens is that this current generation of car, many drivers in the real world have complained it's difficult to pass in at Indianapolis. To the point I read an opinion piece off a racer here not long ago about NASCAR putting the Brickyard on hold until they can develop a car that races better. So qualifying position and early track position become very, very important here. And I think that's why we're seeing a few of the drivers be a little more aggressive than sometimes we would in a 400-mile race. Bill Daly pursuing. Trying to make a work out of Kixhausen here. And there you see he was able to rotate easier through the corner, so he has the momentum here on the backstretch. Takes a look inside of the draft. Holding off on it. May very well be a strategy play. Just letting Daly know that letting Cuxhausen know that he's there. Fill up those back mirrors. That is one of the big things in racecraft and NASCAR, is just letting people know you're there. And here he goes. Moves to the inside, pulling alongside the quarter panel. Can't get the move done. And because of the aero wash from Cuxhausen, he'll drift a little wide. Have to start building that up. Behind Daly, Thomas is coming up. And the more that these two try and duel, the better it is for Thomas, who can just sneak up and get to be part of that conversation. Gary Thomas currently 17th, hasn't moved at all. Watching these guys, oh no, he's moved backwards one position. Watching these guys work through their paces. I'm sure he's saying, get up there and race, guys, so that I can reel you in. And he's another driver that's taking a much wider line. Car may not be performing to what he likes, but right here, he closes the gap almost like he's pushing deeper into the corner. And one of the things that will happen if that is indeed the case is he can cook the tires pretty badly as well. Indianapolis is a diamond ground racetrack. It's got ridging to it. Famously in 2008, I want to say, they had major difficulties with the tires grinding up, or the tires for the Brickyard 400 not holding up. And they famously had to throw cautions once every 20 to 25 laps, strictly for competition. Right here we're seeing the battle in front of us via Gary Thomas's perspective, as well as on the side inset. You can see live what's happening on the track between Schmeier and Cuxhausen. Excuse me. Cuxon. Gunnarsson, yes, okay. Right behind them, we see a gaggle of 4 cars. Perhaps see some action there. That'd be Hutchinson, Braun, Cuxhausen, and Love. Cuxhausen working, keep Love off his back bumper, but Love looks like he may have a run here through the next corners. Takes a look to the inside. He'll pull along to the quarter panel. Cuxhausen shuts the door, but he gets loose, winds up in the grass. That should be 2 positions if he's unlucky. So Love and Baker both pick up a position on Cuxhausen. We'll take another look at that here in just a moment. Love has a good run, gets up, gives him a little love tap, makes him go deeper into the corner than he liked because the car was unsettled. Around he goes. Baker looks back from where he was at and goes, "Hey, I got all the speed you want too," and comes right around. Probably a little bit of a heart-wrenching moment for Baker, though, because Cuxhausen could have easily kicked back up the track sideways into a spin and collected Baker. Take a look here at Wayne Hutchinson. He's gone back 1 position. Taking a look at his driving style right now. Appears to be very smooth. Of course, he's got relatively calm air with several car lengths between he and the car in front. I want to encourage everyone that's watching on YouTube to jump in to the chat and participate with us. This is a community event, and you guys are part of the community, so feel free to ask questions, make comments, be involved in the broadcast. That Blue-Eyed Devil had said, "Good luck at the broadcast." We appreciate that. Putting it together right as we go along here. Take a look at the top of Love's car as he's from the back of Love's car as he's working his laps. 11 degrees of banking at Indianapolis, so significantly different than say Daytona at 31 degrees or Talladega, which I believe is something like 27. And these cars are heavier than any open wheel cars that race at Indianapolis, and it really, with this generation of NASCAR style car, they're much more aero dependent than they have been in the past, and it has caused a different style of racing for sure. Kind of what I talked about before is that there's some opinion that they need to do something different to create better racing at Indianapolis. But what it winds up coming down to, like I said, is track position is at a premium as we come up toward the end of a fuel stint. We'll start seeing guys try different strategies to get any advantage that they can, and that'll include taking different lines around through the corners. It'll include pit stop strategies. It'll include tire strategies. Unfortunately, we don't have pit reporters to speak of, so we don't hear what cars are doing to change their setup or change their tire strategy, but we'll see the results on track. Look at Bill Daly right here. Moved up one position in the 36, working on Cuxhausen's American Dew liveried car. All right, you see on the right-hand side of your screen there, the battle for 12. Love has moved up 6 places. He's cruising right along. That's the battle for 12 right there. And again, Thomas is back there, and he's probably watching these guys duel. He really has cut down quite a bit on the gap that he was experiencing. Could be content to let them burn up fuel and burn up tires in front of him so that he gets the opportunity to leapfrog them while they duel. See Daly working closer and closer to Cuxhausen again. See if we can put together a run this time down through the backstretch and onto the front stretch. Wild line right there by Cuxhausen. Daly filling up his mirrors as they head into turn 1. Again with a deeper line, trying to develop some momentum so that perhaps he can pull side by side here as they come out of 2. Definitely get a different perspective of the lines they're taking when you look from Gary Thomas's position. Daly really working on the back bumper now. About 2 car lengths back is all. Here's an onboard shot, in cockpit shot from Gary Thomas. See his rev limiter coming up as he feeds the throttle and then comes back off it. One of the things that has changed over 33 years now of the Brickyard 400 that Daniel Thomas making a move on Jonas Gunnarsson making a move on Daniel Thomas. Right up on his back bumper here as they go into turn 1. A wider line, carries a little more speed. It doesn't look like he's able to get it done right now. We're going to cut to the fight for the podium position right here. Got Sam Harper, who started 4th and still sits 4th, working on Hafledison. Again, these cars that are dueling in front of someone who's closing the gap like Scrivener might be. Right now we look at the interval on the right-hand side. Last 12 laps, so you can see how it's on a downward trend, certainly. Yeah, from lap 16 to lap 27, which we just finished up, it was definitely almost pyramid shaped or almost a constant slope. So could only be a matter of time until he executes the move to take the position away. And we could be seeing it right now. He's right on his bumper. Probably look to the inside as they come out of 2. Down through the short chute, looking for that rumble strip. It's almost like he can't get the run when the aero washes out on him. Which comes back to something I've talked about a couple of times now. The aero dependency of these cars has made passing a premium activity at the Brickyard. In fact, when I watched some of the Brickyard last weekend, it was very similar. Many of the cars could get up there and get within range of a move, but they could not execute because of the fact that as soon as the dirty air hits the car's under tray, hits the splitter, all of a sudden the car won't turn. So a big part of the strategy that I observed, and of course I've seen this many years watching NASCAR, is just what we're seeing here. A lot of times it's ride on their tail and try and force an error before they get the opportunity, so that you get the opportunity to get around it. Here we see Wayne Hutchinson. Just made the move. Jeff Schmeier going down a position. Hutchinson back up to his starting position of P9. Michael Haflidason down one position, starting position of P2. He's been battling, trying to maintain that position from Harper's attack for several laps now. With Gary Batten in P3 and Austin O'Neill still leading from the pole. Austin O'Neill is checked out. He's about 4 seconds ahead, just a shade over 4 seconds ahead. And he is probably seeing in his rearview mirrors these continuing fights and going, keep that up, gentlemen, let me drive away. Rear on board from Garen Batten, currently second. As we see these guys get strung out, we'll also see, sometimes we will see cars starting to work together because in the draft they're faster than any single car. There's a lot less braking in these cars than there used to be. They're very similar. They're very much, you lift off the throttle during the turns, but there's very little braking, which again contributes to the issue of not being able to get a run on anyone and actually pass them. You can get up close, but you can't get around them because there's only so much horsepower to be generated from your throttle pedal. First car is pitted. That's Wayne Hutchinson, currently 17th. He's had a rough morning so far, gone backwards, a total of 8 spots. Excuse me, that's because he's presently on pit lane, so the delta is taking its toll on him. However, he'll be the first one out there on fresh rubber. Give him the opportunity to make up some positions. And so now we're seeing the first green flag pit stops just a little bit before the quarter of the race is complete. Leader just passed him. We'll now see, I don't know, that seems like it's pretty early in the pit window, but I could be wrong. I'm trying to base it on real world metrics, and iRacing doesn't always follow the real world metrics. Let's keep an eye on Hutchinson's blend out. Now, unlike most road racing series, it only takes about half a lap for NASCAR tires to come up to temp, so he should be at speed before too long, and he can cycle back through to where he was at in about 9th as pit stops progress. Sam Harper in P4 right now. I kind of figured we would actually see some people go ahead and take pit road this time, since a lot of times it takes one guy to be the first one to do it, and then we start seeing people coming down pit road, but that hasn't been the case thus far. If you look over here on the right-hand side of your screen, you see the battle for second. Aaron Batten took over several laps ago. And here's your relative positions: Austin O'Neill, then Batten, then Halfordacey, Hutchinson, and Harper round out your top 5. Hutchinson on fresh tires just went past the leaders. Again, making up that ground because everyone is on 33-year-old or 33-lap-old tires, and Hutchinson is on 2-lap-old tires. So he will get his lap back as soon as they cross scoring. So he'll need to unlap himself from the top 2, and whether that happens through on-track action or when the leaders decide to take pit road, I guess we'll find out here momentarily. There's Austin O'Neill. We're checking in with him. We haven't seen a whole lot of him because he's been checked out quite a ways ahead. Really a master. I've called several races where he's won or podiumed. Really a master of letting the race come to him. He simply sets up his car and keeps his nose clean and gives himself the opportunity to not be involved in things and be in contention. Seeing some other cars head for pit lane now after 37 laps. Here's Hutchinson unlapping himself on the right against Garen Batten. He's still got to run down O'Neill, but that's almost certainly going to have to wait until O'Neill hits pit road. Here's Robert Love getting both side tires taken care of. Full tank of fuel, and he'll be away just momentarily. Now, some of these guys, I'm sure, are trying to run as long as they can early on with their fuel load so that they can then ideally, and NASCAR doesn't use pressurized fuel systems, it's still a gravity-fed can, so there's not really much chance of a short fill type stop. But it does give them the opportunity to, if there's caution laps potentially late in the game, stay out and gain valuable track position. Moreover, it also gives here's Brandon Cuxhausen in the pits, it also gives them a tire advantage because the younger your tires are, the more grip they can have. One wouldn't think that 2, 3, 4... I'm sorry? He is pitting. Austin O'Neill has hit pit lane. We'll see what he does. What I was saying is that 1, 2, 3, 4 lap less on tires doesn't sound like a lot, but a lot of times at the tail end of a race, that is the difference between having grip in the corner and not having grip in the corner when you're racing for position or potentially the win. Bill, 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 Oh. He told he has a moment here on entry. Yep. Spun out to the main racetrack trying to, I'm sure, maintain pit lane speed limit. So he received a tow, which will result in a hold penalty, it appears. Here's Daniel Thomas, who started 5th. Looking at the back of the 3rd team for 4th place. So it looks like, yes, the 4th place car was pitting, so that's why Thomas was so easily sent past. So Garen Batten has inherited the lead here, coming up on the backside of Austin O'Neill. That'll change as soon as Batten. Excuse me, that's Scrivener. Also headed for the pits. We'll see. Michael Hafledison has inherited the lead as everyone else working on their pit stops. For him to go 41 laps on a fuel and tire stint is pretty impressive. Won't last forever, but it could become advantageous as the race wears on. Batten is clear of his pit. Headed for the one. Here comes Austin O'Neill, just passed him. Here comes Hafledison down pit lane. O'Neill right now going to be enjoying all the clean air that he's got right here. And knowing that Hafledison is in the pits, Thomas, Braun, Thomas, all in the pits, so he'll come back around and work his way through the field some more. In fact, he should be right back to the lead, cycled out now. Okay, we'll stay on Hafledison for just a moment to see where he blends out. Mr. M. Go Lightly says in chat, sorry he couldn't make the race today. He's off karting instead. Nothing wrong with that. Real world seat time is real world seat time. I know I missed more than a few races when I was doing shifter karting when I lived in Denver, Colorado. But it was a lot of fun. Gives a person a completely different perspective on racing. And I come from a racing family. My dad built hill climbers down in the 70s, rear-engined Coyotes for the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb and other hill climbs around the Colorado Hill Climb Association. And so for me, getting behind the wheel and actually racing was kind of a dream come true, even if it was only at a grassroots level. Taking a look at the interval here. For Austin O'Neill on Garen Batten. So it's 4 seconds. It was 4 seconds before, and now it's up to 8 seconds after the pit stops, which just shows how, one, the cycle works, and then two, the difference the tires can make. I'll be interested to see how much that cycle, that interval falls, as Garen Batten is on several laps fresher rubber. So after pit stops, your top five is Austin O'Neill, Garen Batten, Gunnarsson, Harper, and Michael Hafledison. Gunnarsson has come up 7 positions, really having a hell of a morning already. The car looks like it should be in Knight Rider or something like that. Whoa! Someone tapping the wall. That is Sam Harper. Really got into the dirty air and just took it a little wide out of the corner. See if that affects his aero, if there's any major damage to him. Thus far, it doesn't seem to be causing any problems. Yeah, we can see right now that Garen Batten's interval is falling slightly. From 8 seconds, it's now down to about 7.2. Eventually, that should stabilize, unless he's also adjusted his setup or tire temps or any of the many variables they can adjust to get a advantage to hopefully reel in Austin O'Neill some. Here's Daniel Thomas. He started 5th. He's down 2 positions in 7th. Take a look at his line as he comes down the backstretch here. Really gets down to that rumble strip, using all of the racetrack, letting it track out close to the wall for the short chute. Again, getting below that white line. Take a look at his inputs here from the in-car camera. Very smooth through the corners. You can see that center line that they put on the steering wheel. I mean, there's some micro adjustments to be seen, but no huge herky-jerks. And watching his rev limiter, he's smooth on the throttle all the way through. So very much seems to have his car dialed into where he wants it. Right there you can see he's effectively coasting. And he's presently only he's less than 2/10 off of the leader's lap time. But it also appears from what I can see he's enjoying some clean air too. Take a look here at Garen Batten. Running his last lap was a 52.233. Leader lap is 52.466. So he is a little over 2/10 faster. You can see his interval again on a steady decrease here over the last 4 laps. And if you look at the scoring pile onto your left side of your screen, you'll see that he is now down to about a 6-second gap, down from 8 following the pit stops. Taking a look at Gary Thomas right here. Another one of the cars that's going just slightly faster than the leader. Part of that is that he could be getting eaten up by O'Neill here in just a moment. Excuse me, that's not O'Neill, that's Thomas. Gary Thomas. Yeah. Similar liveries. Daly having a rough day. He's down a lap. looked like he had to pit again. And Scrivener is down a lap, so Indianapolis is big enough that typically you don't see a lot of lapped cars early on. We are now pushing up into the area where any kind of mistake can, whether it's just you self-spun and wanted to go back to the end of the lead line, or whether you wound up with a black flag for some reason, it can be devastating even with over 100 laps to go to recover. Okay.
And hello everyone, it's your producer checking in as we're watching Austin O'Neill here. Happy to be on board and listening to the sultry tones of Austin here. Just want to say as well a big shout out to our sponsor Whiplash Simcams, who have provided us with some fantastic shots here of Indianapolis. And we'll just be taking a little comms break as we get word from the sponsor here. And that was a little word from our sponsor here, Whiplash Simcams, supported us for at least pretty much the year. I've been fortunate enough to be producing races for majors, both in MEC and in the majors series races, as we see here. All sorts of cams made available for all sorts of tracks, ovals, road courses, come in very handy. I'm personally quite a fan of the drone cams that we tend to get a lot on the road courses. Really dynamic shots available for the broadcast, and yeah, there is the Whiplash Cams Discord if you're at all interested in having a look at the sort of cameras that are available, and we'll probably be hearing from them later on in the race as well. Right, I'm not sure if Austin is back yet. Perfect. So I'll let you continue on and take things away.
Jonas Gunnarsson having a great afternoon. He's up to third place when he started 10th. And you see these guys that have been heavy movers headed up to the front from lower positions. You got to wonder if later in the race they're not going to become a factor. I want to remind everyone that's watching in YouTube land, chat is open. We'd love to hear from you. Reminds me of the days back when I was privileged enough to help out on the Speed website with Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain live chats. Here's Gary Thomas, presently working on the backside of Baker. Taking a much wider entry into the pit, or excuse me, into the corner than Baker is. Take a look at his in-car, how he's driving the car. Entry and exit are very smooth, but he is very, very wide on his line. Oh, well, and then as soon as I said that, he decided to make sure he got clear down to the rumble strips. Take a look to the right-hand side of your screen. Our manufacturers in the are listed in the timing tower. O'Neill, Batten, and Gunnarsson are all on Fords. We have Harper and a Toyota, and another Ford rounds out the top five. Only 1, 2, 3. I guess there's a fair Chevy contingent. They're just having a rough afternoon, not being where they would like to be. Here's Wayne Hutchinson, currently 6th. He's up 3 positions from a starting position of 9th. With Daniel Thomas working on a potential move for position. Really pulled up to the back bumper and shut down the interval. Taking a look to the inside, trying to grab a little bit of momentum. So you head down the back stretch here. He's definitely got the run if he wants to try and execute. He has to lift out. Daniel, whoa! Wayne Hutchinson headed for the pits. I have to wonder if this is scheduled because that's awfully, well, no, that's about right. 30-some laps. Be the second round of pit stops. So we'll see what he takes on here as he comes down. I can't imagine that there's any advantage to him taking right side tires. So we'll probably see a full pit stop here from Hutchinson. Yep, pit stop strategy, you can see on the right-hand side. Most of these guys running 20, 25 to 30 laps on them. 30-some laps. So, which is on par for the real world. There's only so much that, so long that you can run on both tires and fuel. There you do see a couple people that have had what appears to be unscheduled stops. Scrivener being one and Hawk being another. Take a look here at Austin O'Neill again. Really just driving in a class of his own today. As I said before, he is a terribly consistent driver, terribly good at letting the race come to him. And when you qualify on pole and you have that sort of driving style in your back pocket, I'm not going to say it's easy because it's not, but it is unsurprising that he is doing so well and running so well, so far detached from the rest of the field. In the bottom line, excuse me, the bottom light. In the bottom right of your screen, you can see the pit stop laps that these guys have come in on. It's just a little small for me to see on my screen. Otherwise, I'd be expounding. Okay.
And yeah, just to help elaborate on matters here, so we've got Austin O'Neill here, the leader. Seems to have spitted at kind of a sweet spot on 38. Kind of navigating this balance between pitting early to take off the worn rubber and going as long as you can. As you can see further down the list, we've got Hafley Dawson, apologies. He's one of the cars that have been on track the longest in terms of their opening stint, on 41 laps, alongside Daniel Thomas, who's behind him on track. You'd imagine Hafley Dawson, having gone so long on the opening stint, meant that he's lost some time. He's 3 positions down from where he started, so we hope the the suffering early on in these opening stints, as he looks to extend, will come even for him towards the end of the race. And if we bring up the current stint lengths, we can see most of the field in and around the 26 laps, 30 laps on this current set of tyres. So we're expecting to start seeing drivers pit within the next dozen of more laps or so. Speaking of which, Brandon Cuxhausen is one of those, and I'll let Austin take us away for that.
Thanks. I appreciate your stepping in for a moment. And as was just discussed, we see Brandon Cuxhausen starting to come into play as they move on. I will say, just as an observation, it's very strange to see pit lane only occupied about halfway here, looking at an Indianapolis race. 4 tires and fuel for Cuxhausen. He'll be away. And so this is a really good time for anyone that's paying attention to intervals to see the difference between, well, lap times would be even better, but the difference between the fresh tires and the new tire, and the old tires. There is a significant difference, which is why we will probably see, now I'm sure O'Neill is working his strategy to perfection, but you may see someone who's trying to gain some track position gamble on coming early or trying to extend the stint as long as they possibly can on both fuel and tires so that they have fresher tires as the race winds down. Cuxhausen is merged back into the draft. Tires will be up to temperature about halfway down the front stretch. Good stop by him. There you go. You've got lap times pulled up on the left-hand side of your screen. 52.037, 3/10. And we'll take a look at here is Cuxhausen. It said 108.647. That's because he was in the pits. Just unlapped himself from Jeff Schmeier, and you can see just the closing rate was different on the tires. Hutchinson back to 4.2. That's due to pit stop cycles, though. Lead lap is down to 52.03. Hutchinson's last lap was 52.306. So we'll take a look at what his lap time is on this lap. Yep, there you go. It's a total of 9, so almost 0.2 faster. And again, that doesn't sound like a huge amount, but when they start reeling them in at the tail end of a race, that can really be a huge deal. Here's Gunnar Batten running in second place. He is almost a little over 0.4 slower than the leader. Now we're back to looking at intervals. Austin O'Neill has stepped out to an 11-second interval over Batten. Batten with Jonas Gunnarsson working on it. Yeah, there you can see Its interval has been on a steady increase.
And you can see here, as Austin is just taking a brief mic reset, how that gap has been growing. We saw prior to that lap 58, he was trying to run Austin O'Neill down, but alas, Austin managed to get a second wind and has doubled the gap since we last checked in. So that's a very good pace from him. We've had some cars pitting. Jeff Schmeier is in the pits right now. And he's rather leaving the pits, so we'll see where this blends him out. We'll grab one of the blimp cams given by Whiplash Simcams here to see where he blends out on track. We've got Michael Haflidassen just behind him, as you can see in the battle box there at the bottom. Let's bring up the front shot here. You'd imagine if Jeff Schmeier, I've been struggling with his name all year, and as I do believe we've got Austin back, so hello Austin.
Does it sound any better this time around?
Much better, so yep.
Good.
I'll continue here, as we've had some pit stops, Jeff Schmeier being one of those, and it does seem like he's got his tyres up to scratch. Haflidassen in the meanwhile is still, he's actually started to drop back from Jeff here, so those old tyres have had better moments.
Okay, let me get my feet set back up here. I'm trying to make sure I'm popped out. Oh, that's right, that's where that button is.
Lovely.
All right, sorry about that, folks. Technical difficulties on our end. I bought a new headset specifically to do race commentary, and evidently it's a USB one, so it talks a little different than just an analog one. So here we are, about 3 laps shy of the halfway point, seeing Love in the pits. And you're starting to really see the pit strategy come to life as consistently they're going between 35 and 40 laps on a stint. We'll take a look here where Love blends in. Austin O'Neill has come to the pit lane as he takes the slow drive down to his pit box. Aaron Batten inheriting the lead because of that. We'll see how long he pushes his stint out, perhaps trying to do the over lap, or the over under. Several car lengths between him and Gunnarsson, so it appears that most of these guys have kind of settled into a rhythm right now to get through and simply be in a position to go ahead and challenge for larger gains later in the race. O'Neill is back out onto the warm-up lane. We'll see where he blends out. One has to think that, when you're running 6 to 8 second difference between you and the second place car, it really does adjust your pit strategy because of the fact that the delta will be cut down by as much as 20%. Rather, it mitigates 20% of your delta. Gunnarsson is on the pit lane. Gets his mark cleanly. I'm sure we'll see 4 tires for him. Yep. Fresh rubber and fuel for Jonas Gunnarsson. See where he blends out. Aaron Batten has inherited the lead. Now he's going to set his leads 4 laps, but it's slightly more here as he comes around through the tunnel. Gunnarsson had a slight risk being lapped, but he should be all right here as things cycle out. And even if he is, he'll get the lap back as pit stop cycles continue. See these guys really attacking their out laps, try and get tires up to temperature as fast as they can. Batten on his way into the pits. Taking a look at Michael Dawson that has now inherited the lead from 3rd place. Expect he'll be into the pits here shortly too. Given Batten's pit box position, I don't think he's in major danger of being lapped. Well, and I say that and I'm about to eat my words, aren't I? Yep. Gunnarsson just flying past. Dawson on pit road. All right, so Daniel Thomas has inherited the lead. This is the first time I believe he's led the race. See if he can come around and get scored with leading a lap. May not be worth any points, but it's certainly worth, hey, look what I was able to do. Hey, Daniel Thomas into the pits. Which should bring Austin O'Neill back to 1st place as they've all pitted out. Okay. Really is in a class of his own, this Mr. O'Neill is today. He's led 73 of 83 laps. The only laps he hasn't led have been during pit stop cycles. And he is just driving away with things right now. But as we've just passed the halfway point, there's still a lot of racing left. We'll take you through the field here in just a couple minutes. Once the pit stop cycles are finished, we'll have a look at how everyone's afternoon is going. Austin O'Neill coming up to lap his teammate. It appears to, yeah. Gary Thomas's teammate going down a lap to Austin O'Neill. Okay. All right. So presently, Austin O'Neill leads the race with Jonas Gunnarsson in second place. Garen Batten is in third. Harper being number 4. I'll just take you guys through it here. Sam Harper in number 4. Michael Haflidason in 5. Jeff Schmier in P6. Still like that livery. Wayne Hutchinson up to 7th from 9th where he started. Daniel Thomas, down 3 positions from his starting position of 5th in 8th. Davis Braun up 2 positions from his starting position in P9. Brandon Cuxhausen up to 10th from starting 13th. Sebastian Jackson down 5 positions in 11th place. Robert Love up to 12th from 18th. He's having a really excellent afternoon. David Baker down 1 position for 12th where he started. He's in 13th place. Gary Thomas presently in 14th, up 2 positions from his 16th place start. Hayden Cuxhausen started 14th. He's down a position in 15th. Michael Hogg started 17th. He's up 1 position into 16th. Ryan Scrivener started 7th, having a rough afternoon. He is down in 17th position. And Bill Daly in P18 to round out our standings today. He is down 3 positions from 15th where he started the race. Okay. All right, we'll take a look here at an overtake by pit lane. Daniel Thomas was blending out. Wayne Hutchinson going by on the blend. He's up 1 position from 9th place. Got your track map on the right-hand side of your screen that gives you the gaps going in and gives you a visual representation of the gaps. Sometimes an interval is difficult to really place. One of the things that I think is impressive right there is that you see Austin O'Neill highlighted in green on that track map. The interval to 2nd place is almost we'll take a look here as he comes down turn 3. Yeah, it's the entire length of the back stretch, so very impressive to see how he's driving away with things today. There you go. You can see it's almost a third of a lap, if not a little more. That said, Jonas Gunnarsson is having a great day. Started to see some of these guys and why they're becoming the movers and shakers of the race. So while we take a look at the interval and how it's been growing right there on the right-hand side of your lower right-hand side of your screen. you get the opportunity to take a look and understand just what kind of a class that O'Neill is driving in, because you see there that on lap 87 from lap 86 the jump in interval was rather significant. Now that could be because Gunnarsson was encountering lapped traffic, or it could be because that Austin O'Neill is really that impressive. In all actuality, it's probably a combination of both. Taking a look at Daniel Thomas in P7 right now in the 60 car. Trying to get up and get in the back bumper of Schmier. Presently the closest fight on track. So we'll keep an eye on it for a few moments while we enjoy the racing. Taking a look at the leader again, lapping some traffic. Unlike Formula One or various sports car racing series, lapped cars in NASCAR are allowed to fight to maintain their lead lap position. However, when you're down more than one lap or so, there's almost a gentleman's agreement that you'll roll out of the way and let the leaders through. That said, not without incidents in which this is David Baker. His last lap is a 52.717. Started 12th. And he's on his way into the pits. Michael Hogg is on his way into the pits as well. This appears to be an unscheduled stop. Could be a change in pit strategy, trying to get ahead on something in case we see a caution later in the race. We are past halfway. We've run green the whole time, which is a testament to everyone racing cleanly and not trying to pump bad positions. See the pit stop strategy to the lower right-hand side of your screen there. Affledason is a bit of a story because he's lost 3 positions, not all of them in the pits. He actually was caught and passed for position earlier in his race. And we also see Thomas down 2 positions, although I believe that was all on pit lane attrition. Take a look at these overtakes from Affledason getting passed earlier. First one was on pit lane exit. Jonas Gunnarsson and Garen Batten both passed him on that situation. And this is earlier in the race where Garen Batten was able to get around him for position that appears heading into turn 1. Excuse me, no, that'll be turn 3. Side by side down through the short shoes. One of the few Khaled is telling me that, yes, now that's turn 3. He is correct. God, for as many years as I've watched this racetrack, you think I'd know. But at any rate, one of the few passes for position that we've seen on track. Most of our position changes have occurred via pit lane strategy. That said, we do have a couple of people that are up 4, 5, and 6 positions. So it's not impossible to pass. It's just very, very difficult in these cars here. Okay. Here's Bill Daly. We're going to take a look at an incident that he was involved in earlier in the day. Just when he was coming into the pits, got a little squirrely because he was in the brakes trying to get down to pit lane speed limit. Really affected his day because he needed a tow and had to wait on that entire situation to resolve itself. Just as we were cutting to the replay, it almost looked like he had slipped out far enough and barely tapped the wall at one point, but I can't be sure. Here's the in-car view of Daly trying to get down to pit lane speed. And he loses it with some oversteer right up onto the track surface. Could have been a much more significant situation than it turned out to be. Wayne Hutchinson into the pits. He'll be taking 4 fresh rubber and tank of fuel. Been doing 32 laps for every stint. That means he's got to do at least one more. Because there's 62 laps to go, so he's really worked out equal segments for his, if he continues down this strategy, really worked out equal segments. He'll be about 2 laps to the green on his fuel if he's running clear down to a fuel number. And we'll see where he blends out right now. Brandon Cuxhausen on pit lane as well. Daniel Thomas out here being highlighted in our larger screen on the split. Cuxhausen taking 4 fresh tires and fuel as well. Impressively, O'Neill is up to a 19-second gap over Jonas Gunnarsson in P2. How that will be affected by the upcoming pit stops will be interesting to see. And Brandon Cuxhausen blending out on the backstretch. Here's Gary Thomas in the 19. He's down a lap. Great shot of him and the space that's around him, though, so he can run in clean air while he works through the difficulties of the day. Here's Batten in 3rd place. His pit time was 14 seconds last time. That does not count the drive down pit road and the drive out on pit road on the warm-up lane. So when I talk about the delta, you hear any of us talking about the delta. That is the total time from pit in to pit exit when you blend back onto the race line. And so for someone like O'Neill, who has 20 seconds built up, that really mitigates a lot of the delta time that they'll be on pit road that is lost to their on-track lead or their on-track position. On board with Sam Harper right now. His pit lap was 80, so he's at 21 laps on his current tires. His pit time was 14.15. That's cooking right along. Probably see him in here in about the next 10 or 12 laps. One of the things we haven't talked too much about today is the weather. I brought it up at the very beginning of the broadcast, giving track conditions out, but as you can see right now, it's clouded over pretty well here in Indianapolis. What that does to the track at Indy is it makes it very, very tight. Track temp comes down. There you go. You can see current track temperatures on the right-hand side of the screen. Oh, he's going to make it Fahrenheit for me. That's helpful. Yeah, so 77-degree day. The track temperature is at 96. That's fairly low for any NASCAR track, but particularly when they're relying so much on aero here at Indy, since there's no banking to speak of. 11 degrees of banking really isn't much for a NASCAR style track. So that could be a big contributing factor to the lack of ability to pass, is that, like I've said before, these guys will reel someone in, get up to the point where they want to make a run, and then get some aero wash across their nose. Suddenly they've lost grip and they have to lift out or eat a wall. The fact that we haven't seen but one incident where someone got squirrely, and that was actually off of pit road, then is just a testament to the fact that it is an extremely difficult place for NASCAR-style cars to pass right now. A little bit of wind, nothing to speak of, northeast at 9 miles an hour, so that won't be affecting the aero very much. Humidity at 67%. Since NASCAR runs normally aspirated engines, that is not really a factor. If it was IndyCar, it would be, because the turbochargers like a denser atmosphere. And we're coming up on 2/3 of the way through. 160 lap race. Oh, Bill Daly just got screamed past. 104 of 160 laps complete. Leader from the pole is Austin O'Neill. We've had lead changes 7 different times, but that's all been during pit stop cycles. No one's really challenging O'Neill at all. He is up by 21 seconds, almost 22 seconds over Jonas Gunnarsson right now. Really looking like he's going to having some. Excuse me. It really looks like he's having a fantastic day. To be fair, Jonas Gunnarsson is up several positions, and so a lot of these guys having a good day. A lot of these guys just doing their best to maintain. Yep, there's Austin O'Neill, our leader, approaching half a lap of gap over his second place contender, Jonas Gunnarsson. Aaron Batten is in 3rd place. He's led 5 laps today. Sam Harper is presently in 4th place, which is equivalent to where he started. We got Michael Hafledusson. He's led 3 laps during pit stop cycle today. He is down 3 positions, unfortunately. He's had a rough afternoon as well. And Daniel Thomas is in 6th place. He started 5th. He's down 1 position in 6th place. Jeff Schmeier is currently 7th. He's up a position from his starting position of 8. Davis Braun currently 8th place. That is 3 positions up from starting 11th. I'm sorry, that was who? Oh, Townsend trying to unlap himself as they go forward here. See if he's able to get a run and get around him. Here's Robert Love. He started at 18th and is up to 9th, so he's our big mover of the race, if I recall. That's 9 positions. Having a great afternoon. And he just completed an overtake while we're doing the recap, so here's a replay of that for us. Sebastian Jackson going way wide on the corner. Almost like he missed the entry and had to lift completely. And then it was a drag race down the front stretch, but Love was going to have significantly more momentum going through. So that brings us to Sebastian Jackson, who is down a lap. So is Love. 7 cars remain on the lead lap. David Baker, he started 12th. He's up 2 positions in 10th. Gary Thomas started 16th. He is up 15. He is up 5 positions in 11th place. Having a pretty good afternoon despite being down a lap. Here's Hayden Cuxhausen. He started 14th. He's moved up 2 positions again despite being down a lap, having a productive afternoon. Wayne Hutchinson having a long day. He's down to 13th when he started 9th. Here's Brandon Cuxhausen. He's down 1 position from his 13th. Here's Jeff Schmier. He is down 2 laps. He started 8th. He is in 15th position presently. Having a difficult day despite the menacing livery that I like. Brian Scrivener, he started 7th, having a long afternoon. He is down to 16th. 2 laps down. There's Michael Harg. He is holding station in 17th. 2 laps down. And here is Bill Daly. He started 15th. He has lost 3 positions and is 3 laps down in 18th. About to get lapped by Halfledason again. Thanks for a long afternoon, no matter how a person cuts it. And there you see the overtake from the in-car cameras. Didn't go around him like he was nothing. Daly, however, didn't put up a huge fight for it, knowing he's already down. Nothing to be gained by impeding the leaders. So we're working lap 110 of 160. That gives us 50 laps to go. We've got at least one more pit stop. So far, we ran the entire race green. Probably pit stops in the next 10 to 12 laps, depending on where people have developed their strategy out. And that's going to put people at the very tail end of a fuel run, or several of them right at the tail end of a fuel run if they pit lap roughly 120, 125. And I would speculate that for most drivers that is by design. Another look at Sam Harper in 4th place. A little bit of sunshine coming through on the backstretch there. Take a look in car with Sam Harper.
whilst we were having a look there at Sam Harper with the onboard there, hustling the car as best as he can to chase Garen Batten. We've seen a lot more movement towards the back of the field, and I think that's probably of no surprise. These guys are running a very fine line here, balancing their tyre wear, fuel use, dirty air, trying to maintain as best a pace as they can as these tyres get worn and the car gets lighter and lighter. Lap 114 at the moment. If we bring up the stint lengths again, just for a reminder, we are expecting to see cars pitting. O'Neill, one of the cars who's been kind of far and away the best driver on the field at the moment. He's probably due to pit within the next 3-4 laps, depending on how he's been going. Robert Love is one of the cars that's pitted just now as well. And I think it would be O'Neill and then Gunnarson at some point. So we'll see if we can bring up the dual cam as well, just to give us a good look at him in the second cam. Bit of a manual process, so do bear with me. There we go. Robert Love. Don't think he'll be able to get to the end from here. And just as predicted, as Love is exiting the pits, there goes Austin O'Neill. So we'll just keep an eye on where Robert Love manages to blend into traffic here. Does seem like he should be fine for the most part. We can bring up the track map to get a better idea of whether that's going to be happening or not. And if you are at all interested to follow the action on track, there is the timing link as well as the track map link in YouTube chat. There we go. The Austin O'Neill, probably of no surprise, started the race in first, so he gets given the first pit box. We'll cut the second cam to the current leader overall, which would be Jonas Gunnarsson. Wants to keep the left cam up on the blimp just so we can try and get a good idea of the traffic approaching Austin at the moment. I think that's his teammate coming by as well. I've got Gunnarsson exiting turn 4, so I think probably of no surprise it was a 20-second lead for Austin O'Neill when he pitted. So definitely a good thing to not be lapped and give himself the option to keep going. As we've got Austin's teammate heading into the pits, that is Brian Scrivener. I definitely did not forget who it was. And we'll keep a track of Jonas Gunnarsson here on the main screen as I bring that up. Currently at the moment, having gained a lot of positions, actually not net leader at the moment, but he was up a considerable amount of spots from where he started in 10th. And there we go. As expected, he enters the pit now. That gives Garen Batten the lead of the race. We've been keeping track of cars that have been kind of cycling in and out of the lead positions. Austin O'Neill not getting too greedy by deciding to let others lead for a little bit of the race. So we can bring up the laps led here for Garen. That is 6 laps and counting. And it remains to be seen how long he manages to stay ahead here, as he does have the car of Sam Harper behind. Both pitted on exactly the same lap, so they've been on each other's backs effectively the entire race. We did see them fight in the previous pit stop shuffle on pit exit, so I'm expecting to see a repeat of this. Hayden Coxhausen in the pits as well. Hafler Dawson at the back of shot, being given a bit of a hurry up by Daniel Thomas. So we'll just grab a onboard cam of those cars as we get rid of the pit stops. So we can see Daniel Thomas there in P4, giving good chase to Haflidassen. And you'd imagine priority at the moment here is to make sure it is going to be just the one pit stop to the end. I forgot what the law technically is called, but you'd imagine if it's been green for this long, it should continue to be green for the remainder of the race. So see how things continue on. 120, we've seen cars do 40 laps. Got a few cars managing to exit the pits there. That might be... I don't think that's Scrivener. It is? Ah, okay. I'm getting used to my Fusion liveries right now. It's good to see him. The 70 car managed to exit out in clear traffic. Go back to Garen on the main shot. And I've completely missed the overtake on the right side. So we'll do that justice with a proper replay eventually. I'm just going to stay on board here with Garen because I do want to see them exit the entry at the same time. There we go. Sam Harper in the pits alongside Garen Batten. So not expecting to see a pit stop shuffle in terms of a fight directly in pit lane, given proceedings at the moment.
Pitting.
Just getting the announcement that David Baker is pitting now as well. There goes Garen. And Harper sharing the exact same pit box. No one's missed their spot. Haflidassen as well. Electing to try and go straight through. Exact same pit stop timing, so this might be quite close here. Batten heads out ahead. And there he goes, ahead of Sam Harper. Jonas Gunnarson jumps the lot of them. That's Jeff Schmier making his way past as well. Daniel Thomas, who briefly took the lead of the race, is in the pits now. That's Sebastian Jackson on the outside there. And we've got Austin back, but I will just continue to take the run here. We've got Jackson perfectly splitting. Jackson perfectly splitting the pit outs of Batten and Harper. Harper's going to be quite miffed because that happened to him the last time as well with traffic. Thomas in the pits, David's Braun in the pits. Sebastian Jackson entering the pits at the back of the shot. We've got another Fusion car entering the pits. Oh, someone is sideways. Oh, that's not very
good to have our first caution of the day.
Still no caution. Amazing. what a incident that was. I think that was Sebastian Jackson right there. Yeah. Let's see if I can grab the exact point in the replay where this happened. This was that could have been an airplane crash, no, Austin?
Yes, it could.
So,
looks like he's coming into pit just fine, but another situation of locking up as they brake to get down to pit lane speed limit, I'm guessing.
And that was Gary Thomas
having to dodge.
Yeah. That is interesting. Very interesting. We can grab it on board from his view to see how shocking that must have been for him seeing a car sideways. So this was Gary Thomas entering pit lane here on the replay. Gets lapped by Haflidassen.
Sees Haflidassen go by. He's looking for pit entry. Swings in, no problem.
And he sees the smoke.
And he sees some smoke. It's pretty heads-up driving by him to not get collected.
Yeah. And then one more view from the onboard of Sebastian Jackson, just to see how hairy that was. I'm still surprised that was not a caution.
I am too. I guess because he was off the racing line and probably still moving that was able to get out of the way. But with Thomas coming down the way he was, you know, had he been collected, I'm sure we would have seen a yellow.
Yeah. And I think it was probably the same kind of symptom that caused Bill Daly's spin. where
Right.
he just grabs that downshift at the end, and the car just did not like it and just let go. So
Right. Well, no harm, no foul. Evidently, no penalty thrown because he didn't need the tow that Davis did. So
Yep.
back out there, but probably slightly frustrated about the situation.
only cars that are yet to pit, Wayne Hutchinson at the moment. Pretty much most of the field around him has pitted around the lap 120, 117 mark. So unless these guys start doing 43, 45 lap stints, which we've not seen yet, I think we're going to see some splashes at the end of the race. But Wayne Hutchinson...
I agree. It'd have to be a pretty hefty fuel save. And in NASCAR, they can't fuel save. It was a lot different here before they brought fuel injection in. Well, it's now quite a few years back. But they can save fuel, and they will. But I would think to go 40 laps, more than 40 laps for a number of them, they'd be having to work pretty hard at it.
Yep. And looking at the pit strategies here for the field, just bringing it up at the bottom right, we've been tracking it pretty much the whole day. Austin O'Neill at the moment, he's been doing 38, 39 lap stints on the crazy pace that he's been doing. To bring up the pit stop lap, he is pretty much the earliest pitter out of the top 6 or so.
Right.
He pretty much definitely will need to pit at the end. Jonas Gunnarson on 117. That gives him about 43 laps to go to the end on this stint, which, yeah, enough said.
That's a long way.
Yeah. And then Batten, the first of the cars in that top 10, that could potentially be on for a single stint to the end, 120, so he only needs to do a 14-lap stint. He's managed to do 39 on the first stint. Apologies, 40 on the first. He's done 40 every single stint. Apologies, just getting my rows mixed up here. So, more of the same, Garen.
He could make it. Well, no, he couldn't, because it just depends. The other thing that we can't ignore is the fact that while we have not had a yellow, should a yellow come out, that burns about half as much fuel when they're under pace laps as they would under race laps. So if they could get some caution, and that could be what some of these guys were banking on, some caution laps to help pad out their fuel numbers.
Absolutely. I think probably Daniel Thomas is in a much easier position here, having done 41 lap stints, and he pitted 121, so he technically only needs to do 39 to the end. And like I said, Wayne Hutchinson, he pitted 96, so he's definitely due to pit sometime. Davis Braun, 121 as well. Most recent pitter at the moment on track is pretty much shared between Daniel Thomas, Braun here, and I believe further down this would be the car of Gary Thomas. Though obviously these cars are a lap down, so
so with 8 cars on the lead lap right now, and in fact we're discussing who's gonna do some pits. We've got one taker. 8 cars on the lead lap right now. It's that's where your race is, and clearly Austin O'Neill is dominating. But we may see some action between Gunnarsson and Batten. We may see some action between any of those guys, because depending on what happens, and again, should we see a yellow, that would change the entire pit strategy.
Absolutely. We've got one of the closest fights on track here. Thomas taking on Rafael Gassi. And you'd imagine having fought dirtier all race, tiredness would probably start being a bit more of a factor here, don't you think?
some drivers can adjust to it. Other drivers may still be fighting it. The larger issue, I think, is if you're racing in dirty air all race and you haven't had a caution to even catch your breath, it makes for a long, long day. The mental fatigue of hitting your marks every time, of adjusting around traffic, of adjusting around different variables, like however your setup is at your house, things like that. Even just sitting here, I told you a little bit ago that I'm fighting some back pain. Even just sitting here to watch and commentate, is taking a mental toll on me. So I can't imagine what it is as a driver. I remember when I was karting that, you start getting into the late stages of a race, all of that mental load starts to just pile up, and it takes serious effort and concentration to be doing the things that you need to do, not just to maintain position, but to actively not lose positions. So I am interested to see how these guys deal with pit stops, because we've got 30 laps to go as of now. We're on board with Half-a-Dason and Daniel Thomas. As was stated, this is one of the closest races on the field.
I want to just take the chance to also highlight just how much Michael has been lifting, because you can see at the end of the straights, you can see how this gap closes down considerably. It's obviously the concertina effect of gaps just closing up physically as we approach the kind of braking and corner zones, and then it kind of expanding again on exits. But there was, especially a few laps ago, Daniel Thomas almost got right onto the rear of Michael as he took a very hefty lift. Current audio that you're hearing on the feed is Half-a-Dason's on board. You can hear a very big slide as well there. So again, balancing fuel, balancing fighting the car, balancing trying to keep some decent pace as well. O'Neill is only ever getting further and further and further away. And with the sort of pit lane times that we've been seeing, you'd imagine, what, 40 seconds plus clear perhaps? We'd get to the point of, well, possibly being well clear of the cars behind, to the point where it could be maybe even a clean stop. But that is still, for a guy as fast as Austin O'Neill, to get up to 40 seconds, having taken the entire race to get up to half a minute. It's
right.
A big jump, but hey, 28 laps to go.
28 laps to go. One of the things about it is that O'Neill may not even be worried about that, because he knows that through one more pit stop cycle, he's likely to be there. If I'm Austin O'Neill, my biggest concern right now is yellow, if a caution were to come out, because that erases all the work he's done over, the entirety of the race at this point, and brings everyone around for a double file restart. So the pit stop he's executed every time. Here's Hutchinson in on 132. Austin, I'm trying to remember what my thought was. Austin O'Neill has executed on every pit stop so far and made absolutely the best use of his car since the beginning of the race. So the yellow is the major threat for him, not pit stop cycles, I would think.
Absolutely. We'll cut to Garen here and the blimp cam.
So he pitted with exactly 40 laps to go.
Yep.
He's almost certainly going to need a splash and go before the day is done. Sam Harper in the same situation. Although his pit time was almost a second faster than what we just looked at for Batten.
I had a chance to have a look at some of these static cams. I'm a very big fan of these static cams placed on the wall to give a true sense of speed. We've got Brandon Coxhausen getting passed by quite a few cars here. Don't know why. What's happening? So he's exiting the pits. believe that would be the car of O'Neill. Yeah, Austin O'Neill. So he's looking to put another lap on Coxhausen here in center of shot.
And coming fast.
Yep, absolutely.
So Bill Daly right behind Austin O'Neill with another lap down, so he is now 5 laps down. Assuming Austin O'Neill makes them. He's just had a rough day, hasn't he?
Just finishing the race, I think, would be a good achievement here.
Sure. And if Cuxhausen goes a lap down here, that'll be 2 laps total for him.
My rookie oval knowledge is showing here. I'm assuming we're doing Lucky Dog here. So I assume that would be Davis Brown, first lap down.
I don't know, but you know what? Let me just dive over to the Majors website and I can look.
And in either way, it is a credit to how fast these guys have been lapping, and specifically Austin as well, to have managed to put a lap down on pretty much everyone bar the top 6. So really good pace. We can show up the track map as well. So currently has the P13, 12 and 11 cars of Brandon Coxhausen, Gary Thomas and Wayne Hutchinson ahead of him. In terms of if you were to lap another car that's currently on the lead lap, that would be Daniel Thomas, which would be, as we can see on the track map when we take away the other cars, Daniel Thomas at the moment coming up to start lap, I believe this would be 137 for him. Austin O'Neill himself coming up to lap 138 at the line.
To answer your question, I did look. Lucky Dog is on, so that means for anyone new to NASCAR style racing, that means that should a caution come out, the first car off the lead lap gets their lap back. That does not apply should everyone go down by 2 laps, but I don't see a universe in which that's going to happen today in 22 laps. So that would be Davis Braun that would get his lap back if there was a caution, assuming he wasn't caught up in it.
Yeah, and I think this is where iRacing's kind of rules kind of come in that you could imagine if you're not too involved in real life, I don't know how strict they are with their Lucky Dog compared to iRacing. When iRacing, you might have an innocuous 0x in the midst of the crash, get through clean, and then iRacing deeming that, well, you were involved, so no Lucky Dog for you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate too, because one of the, in comparison to the real world, yes, there are still stewards that take a real world look at it and go, okay, you know, what was the situation? I think back to when I was growing up and hearing about Tony Bettenhausen in the IndyCar series, the IndyCar series back then, talking about how he wanted to be human, and so if there was a mid-pack car that got caught up in something small, usually no penalty was issued if it was no fault of their own, because it doesn't do any good to ruin the letter of the law by ignoring the spirit of the law. But right. When it's automated and done by software rather than humans, of course.
Yep.
Well, you know, that's how the Terminator got started, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And just there at the moment, getting out to pit lane. I wanted to try and segue into a Terminator pun, but other than the car looking real menacing, I've got nothing. So we'll probably leave it at that. 20 laps to go. And probably a good chance as any to remind ourselves of the wider series as a whole. We've got pretty much a very exciting field coming up here in terms of the schedule here. We've got the Brickyard 400 at the moment. Laguna Seca at the end of the month coming up as we head down towards our championship finale towards the end of the year in November. So lots of races that people can take part of. Even if you're not part of the championship, if any of these races take a fancy, do give the website a look. The Majors link is in the YouTube chat as well. And as we take a look further down, we've got the results from the last race. Haflidassen got a very good points hold there over, I want to say Austin O'Neill, but they both got the same points, having won their respective classes in the IMSA-style Watkins event. Looking further on ahead, we've got the standings at the moment. Austin O'Neill leading the standings and leading this race by a wide margin over the rest of the field. Gunnarson currently in second place, looking to make some serious gains on the top 6. And as always, we've only been looking at just the European segment of the Majors series for this year. International already had a very eventful race earlier, and we've got the Americas coming up later, produced by Dakota and comms from Blue, so that's looking to be a very exciting race. And that only took me 2 laps, so I hopefully think we've not missed anything. There's not been any overtakes in my log. So yeah, and I'll probably take the chance as well to highlight the upcoming MEC Season 3. If you at all are interested in some good old IMSA/WEC style action with the GTP, LMP2, GT3 multi-class action across some European tracks this time round. I say European tracks, I think it's a worldwide selection. Kota, Suzuka, and a few other tracks. With the Season 3 taking us towards, I believe it is pretty much the end of the year. The first race already coming up next month. There is the MEC Season 3 link in the YouTube chat if you are at all interested. And to close off my shoutouts and plugs for the remainder of the race, as always, this is the Major Series YouTube channel. We try very hard to put on a very good broadcast for all races involved. So if you do like what you see, give it a like. It really helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to see more of the action and be notified whenever we go up for any of these races, there is always a chance to subscribe. And with that said,
Welcome.
I'll let Austin get his voice back on the channel.
No worries at all. All right, so we're seeing that O'Neill has stepped out to a 35, almost 36-second lead. At some point, he should have to pit, if I'm not mistaken. But as we were talking about, that all but eliminates his delta depending on when he does on pit road and on pit exit. With 16 to go.
I am back. Apologies. Yeah, Discord decided to act off a
Okay.
little bit. Please continue your train of thoughts before you were really interrupted.
Well, yeah, it kind of unsettled me there a bit because now I don't know what to feed. So what we will probably be seeing is people, if they need to come for a splash go, they're probably starting to think about it now. This would be the time in a real-world race where they're conferring back with their crew chief and saying, okay, just how long can we make it? Because you want to get in, it's advantageous. And right now, what we're seeing is a lot of, I hate to say the word processional, but that's really what it's been. But at the same time, one doesn't want to get caught out through the fact that that they ran out of gas with 1 to go.
Absolutely, and it's probably of note here that we've got Austin O'Neill having to lap quite a few cars. He might not mind as much, since this hopefully should give him a little bit of more fuel mileage. He's been running in clean air for a lot of the race, and remains to be seen whether he manages to make that distance last. We did check on the stints earlier, but until we get to those remaining 14 laps, anything can happen in terms of pit stop shuffles, people needing to pit, and for a race to be won. So we'll see how things get on.
It's impressive to see someone in a NASCAR style race anymore run out to 36 seconds of lead. And to your point about having to deal with lap traffic, it doesn't seem to be affecting him. Whether that's because of the courtesy of the other drivers, which I've been seeing plenty on display. They don't do anything really to hold him up. They understand that he's racing for a win. The other part is his car is clearly just absolutely dialed in. It's not missing a beat anywhere.
We've got
Blue-Eyed Devil 07 bringing up the random safety car thing and going, and random also means it doesn't have to happen. So
it is probably of note that is indeed one of the stewards as well talking. So let's not let's not sully the sanctity of this race. As much as we as broadcasters would love for content to make itself known, these guys have done very well to run as clean as they have. I've not seen any incidents or I say incident. We've had a few spins and tumbles in pit lane entry, but we've not had any actual shenanigans between drivers. So if these guys can manage to keep that up with 12 laps to go, then it's probably more of a credit to them, and we'd love to see that happen. Yeah.
Blue-Eyed Devil saying, okay, I'll behave. Yep. Well, fair enough. As we took him down, about 52 seconds a lap is what they were turning earlier in the race. Whether that's faster or not because of the overcast and the rubber getting laid down, that's something to take a look at, I suppose, if we were really that worried about it. Again, we see O'Neill really working to navigate traffic, and now taking a look at Garen Batten.
The leader's in the pits.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
Well, I guess we'll see what his delta actually looks like then, won't we?
We'll bring up the track map as well. So we've got Gunnarson exiting turn 4 at the moment. I wonder if I can bring up the camera as well of him coming by on the dual shot. There we go. So there goes Gunnarson. And it's taken him until lap 149 to be leading this race. Sam Harper also makes his way past. And take it away, Austin.
Well, the unfortunate, I think I tried to mention to you that I've lost my video feed. I don't know if it's because you're not sharing your screen or something.
Hi, Austin.
There we go.
So I was kind of keeping an eye on the YouTube side, but...
yeah, no.
There we go. Hang on 1 second. We'll get it back. There we go. Okay. Yes, Gunnarson now leading 1 lap as the current graphic says. It's taken him that time to get there. We'll see where O'Neill and Gunnarson wind up relative to each other here.
And I wasn't
10
quite
to
able
go.
to notice if Austin O'Neill took tyres there, because it was a very short splash for him.
Boy, if he did, I probably only I would have, if I was his crew chief, I would have said right side tires only.
Yep.
But I would also say with 10 to go, that's risky because you lose a lot of track position with right side only.
Absolutely. We can bring up the battle box as well, just to get an idea of the sort of cars between him and the leader. At the moment, it's mainly just the podium ahead of him, so that would be Sam Harper, and then if we bring up the rest of the track map data, it would be Sam Harper in 3rd place. We've got the P17 car of Scrivener, who is a Fusion teammate here, so it'll be interesting to see if he manages to help out his teammate here. But either way, Scrivener, and then we've got Garen Batten in 2nd place, just behind Jonas Gunnarsson. So well to shuffle through to the lead here. I wonder if we can get the pit stints up again one more time. Goddison, if he can manage to eke out a 43 lap stint, he would be able to make it to the end, but that seems highly unlikely. Garen, at the moment, he's been doing 40 laps every single stint on the dot. 160 lap race. You'd imagine this was planned. So if he manages to keep that position by the end of the race without having to pit, it is probably his to take. Sam Harper on the other side, he's been doing the exact same as well. He's only just behind as well. So all is to play for here.
Very much a group of guys that are doing their very, very best to hit their numbers and be consistent. And Indianapolis is a track that rewards consistency. O'Neill right there.
That's Austin O'Neill up into third position. Just needs to get past the lapped car of Michael Hogg, who will want no business here. I think Sam Harper won't be looking to fight back here. And Austin's got around 3.6, 3.8 seconds to Jonas in the lead of the race. With 6 laps to go, that's got to be a mighty impressive rundown if he manages it, but I don't know.
He's dropping about, I'm watching the interval right now, and he's dropping quite a few tenths even just around the lap. With 6 to go though, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. He's certainly not gonna let the wind just slip through his fingers based on the splash and go.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like we mentioned, he's about 3 seconds back with 6 laps to go, so that is about half, well, 5 laps to go now, so he's got to be half a second.
About 2/3 of a second, yeah.
Okay, well, he is well faster, so.
Yeah. Down to 1.7 and change. He's on the charge.
Best teammate ahead of him. You'd expect it to just immediately have to get out of the way here. I don't think Austin can afford fighting a teammate for even
Position.
one
No,
extra corner. No. So there he goes. And I think technically the Fusion car of Garen Batten is also just ahead. So, oh, and there goes Jonas Gunnarsson.
Yeah,
so
Gunnarsson to the pits.
So he couldn't make it work. There he goes. And that cycles Garen into the lead of the race with O'Neill just behind. And I'll let you take us to the end here.
All right. We see O'Neill really cutting into the lead that Batten has inherited, looking at 4/10 right now. We will probably stay on that until the end here because with 4 laps to go, O'Neill is setting up inside of the draft just fine. Definitely has tires to do the deeper line, although I'd be really surprised if he took any tires in that last stop. See from his onboard on top of his car, we can see him really closing up the gap, setting his line almost exactly where Garen Batten's tire tracks were. 3 to go this time by. You can see he takes a deeper entry into the corner and not going to try it this time. Possibly out of 2, although he had to lift, it appears. Wide there, setting up, possibly doing that on purpose to grab some momentum. And we may see him wait until the last lap so Batten doesn't have a chance to really defend the move. or put the move back on him. Closes the gap there, gets right up on the bumper, slips back into the draft. Batten doing his best to break the draft.
Good to go.
Back down into turn 1 with 2 laps to go. Yeah, here comes O'Neill up to the quarter panel. Going to move to the inside, take the lead in turn 2 in the short after the short shoot. See if Batten's got anything left for him. He's taking a look to the inside, trying to build some momentum, probably trying to find some clean air too. Get his aero grip back down, but O'Neill's interval is just, it's like he was shot out of a rocket, so he's up to 7/10 already. He'll come by and take the white flag, and barring something catastrophic from him, looks like it's his race to lose.
White flag.
White flag. Down through.
Apologies, just run the second cam on Daniel Thomas here. Last ditch fight for number 4. And I'll let Austin call the lap for Austin.
Daniel Thomas still trying to work something out with P4, but we see Austin O'Neill coming down the backstretch, looking at turn 3 here in just a moment. He'll come through the short chute, head for the tunnel. And off and away he goes towards the checkered flag.
Austin O'Neill wins it here at the Brickyard 400. Amazing job here. Amazing job.
Absolutely dominant performance.
Daniel Thomas keeps P5 after a very late charge. Davis Braun, Jonas Gunnarsson, Wayne Hutchinson all managed to take the flag here just fine. Gary Thomas takes it in P11. Bill Daly just behind finishes up as well. Sebastian Jackson and Robert Love all managing quite well there. I believe there's Robert Love coming up to the line. And then we've got Jeff Schmier coming up as well to finish things off.
There's the checkered, everyone. Good racing, good racing. You guys kept it super clean today. I was expecting at least one incident. Not even one got put down, as far as I'm aware. So, good driving from everyone. Top 3 usually, by the way. Make sure to go get your interview. Unless you don't want one. That's okay, too. But yeah, good racing. It was an honor watching you guys and being here for you guys. Have a good day, everyone.
Must have been the easiest admin race the whole season.
Without cautions. And now we'll see some donuts. Burnout action from Austin O'Neill. In my short time with the majors, this has become kind of a recurring sight.
Austin, at least you race better than your donuts.
Austin getting called out for his donuts, but I think I would happily trade in my donut skills for that kind of pace that he exhibited. To be forced into a splash and still win is amazing running there. Amazing running there. And I believe that is everyone. So, as the scenic blimp, apologies, takes us away, we should be able to have a run through of the results. So I'll let you take that for us once I'm able to bring it up for the screen here. There we go. I said here we go. There we go.
Okay, today's race winner is Austin O'Neill from the Fusion Gold Americas team. Baron Batten came in P2 as a privateer. Sam Harper was 3rd place with the No Name Race Group Racing. Michael Hafledesson was in Alcantech NHR. Daniel Thomas in P5, that's your top 10 with Muriel 1-0 Racing. Davis Braun is privateer. He took 6th place. Jonas Gunnarsson took Alcantech NHR's car to the 7th place. David H. Baker was another privateer in 8th place. Wayne Hutchinson is 9th place. Brandon Cuxhausen is 10th. Gary Thomas finished out in P11. 12 was Sebastian Jackson. 13 was Robert Love. Jeff Schmier was in 14th place. Hayden Cuxhausen was in 15th place. Ryan Scrivener finished up in 16th. Michael Hogg was in 17th. And Bill Daly had a long afternoon and wound up in last place.
All right. And do stay tuned as we've got some interviews coming up. It will take a little bit to get people in and sorted, so we'll leave you with the ad segment from our lovely sponsor, Whiplash, who have been able to get this amazing show for us going. And we'll just go off a little bit just to get our winners in. So
Ladies and gentlemen, in here with our race winner, Austin O'Neill. After having a very productive day, he dominated the race from start to finish. Tell me, Austin, what was it like to have to do the splash and go there at the tail end and then work your way back up to first place?
Well, I wasn't really planning to do that. I made the race more stressful than I really wanted to make it. We took off, and I knew I wanted to get out far enough that nobody had my toe, and I could really kind of kill them with dirty hair. And um, tried to save the first stint and a half, and just wasn't pleased with where I was. The cloud cover had the track pretty juiced up, so where I was running faster than I had really planned on doing, and nothing that saving wise was working. So it was about halfway through the second stint, I should say. I decided just to push because everybody else was saving, so I might as well do something different. And um, I knew that it was about 10 seconds stint that I was getting on Halfley, which was really my main focus in that whole deal, just for points wise. And it was going to get really close at the end with traffic and how I caught it. And um, yeah, I'm just glad it worked out. I wish I would have probably done it sooner, and I would have cleared, you know, Sam and Garen, with ease on that last stop. But I'm lucky I made the call as soon as I did, because if I would have waited a couple laps later, I mean, it was game over. I wasn't going to do anything, and kind of throw my race away.
Good enough. Good enough. So, what's it like when a person is out there, when you're out there driving, and your marks are just coming to you, and you're being rewarded by the consistency?
I mean, it was very rewarding. Like uh, that, it was about a half a second a lap that I was faster than the rest of the field on fuel saving, and it was when I had clean air and stuff. Everything was nice, and it was each lap that went by was a little bit of stress that was relieved to know that my plan was working. It kind of got scary at the end with I was probably halfway through a stint, and a couple lap cars came out in fresh tires, and I was just fast enough to like stay with them. Um, but they were just at the right speed and not like get away from me. So I was like getting help with tow, but it was also killing my right front tire, and I was getting nervous that it was gonna kind of hurt me there. But no, it was a pleasing race, from the driving perspective of it. It's Indy's an interesting track where it's kind of hard to pass in single file, but it's very technical and driver rewarding. So to the inside, it was a very fun race to run, and um, yeah, it was a little redemption from how my Indianapolis 500 went a couple months ago.
How much does not having any yellow laps to rely on figure into how you race today and your stress level today?
I mean, I knew there was a chance that we could go green. I really would have liked to have one so that it just cleared me from the pit stop at the end, and I could have just raced free. But um, it's kind of like a double-edged sword where it's like, yes, it's nice to not have that pit stop and have the pace to being cleaner and drive away, and then you're just kind of stuck on luck to get you through it, or you have a restart and now you're backed up to everybody else, and if you make a mistake or somebody times a restart better than you, then you've lost the hard work you put in. So, like I said, it's kind of a double-edged sword, but just got lucky that it worked out in my favor today.
Excellent. Well, is there any shout outs, anyone you want to say hi to while we've got you?
Yeah, the whole Fusion team. It's been a pretty quick turnaround from Road America, and we put in a lot of work, to get to this race and have a car capable of doing that. Taking advantage of the special event a couple weeks ago, played a huge role in that, and yeah, it was good to see Garen and Sam run 1, 2, 3 with us, and then Daniel was right there, and I believe fifth or sixth back behind Halfley. So good day for us points wise. Should help us out team standing wise. But yeah, Fusion, Shoot Speed Glove, Sim Racing Stewards, Sim Science, Majors Garage, MEC. We couldn't really do it without everybody's help, and hopefully we can repeat this later on tonight in Americas.
Oh, well, we appreciate your time, man. Congratulations on a great race win.
Yep, thank you.
Take care.
All right, that was Austin O'Neill. He's been a fantastic shout, staying on here with us for an interview. We'll be getting Garen Batten in soon. Do stay with us for a little bit whilst we get things sorted.
All right, race fans, we are here with Garen Batten, our second place finisher today. Garen, glad to have you. How was the race for you?
I turned left a lot and I drove around. Yeah, that was interesting to not have any yellow. Yeah, didn't expect to run green the whole time, but yeah, we sort of made the decision. I say we, Sam and I, who ran nose to tail for basically the entire race, made the decision early in that first stint. Let's just back it off a bit, save the fuel, get to 40 laps, and on the off chance, and we were kind of laughing about it ever happening, on the off chance it was to run green if we can make 40 laps and we can do it on 3 stops, and that's what happened. So yeah, I think Austin was always going to win the race. I know it kind of looked close at the end, but in the second stint, I think Austin, having stopped before lap 40 in the first stint, started thinking, oh, could he go on a mega save and sort of catch those laps back of fuel? And so he was actually quite slow in the second stint rather than just putting the hammer down and going for it, knowing that he was going to have to stop an extra time. I think if he hadn't have sort of had that 10 or 15 laps of doubt in the second stint, he would have cleared us easily, even with the extra stop, because he just had so much pace. But yeah, look, anyway, it was a real patience race, this one. I mean, you're showing, yeah, I had to try and get past Hafley pretty early. Just felt like I had enough pace to run in front of him. And then it was just, yeah, hit the fuel number. Yeah, be patient with the traffic, because you can't just roar past people, even if you've got a tire advantage or a pace advantage. It takes time. You got to wait. And, but yeah, other than that, we just, Sam and I just ran nose to tail and yeah, waited for the laps to count down.
Good enough. Good enough. Excuse me. I'm fighting a back thing right now, so trying to shift causes me a little bit of a wincing pain. So talk to me about when Austin O'Neill went in for that last splash and go. Did that change your approach at all, or did you hope that maybe he couldn't catch you and overtake you there with those last couple laps to go?
I mean, look, we're teammates, and I was never going to make it hard if he caught back up again, right? But obviously, if he never caught back up again, then happy days for me. I think being stuck behind Jonas for that last stint, I couldn't use all of the pace that I had. So maybe if I hadn't have had Jonas in front for that final run, I could have maybe been a little further up the road when Austin came out. But I mean, I think he was managing it anyway. So yeah, look, all I could do was just run as fast as I could. Hit the fuel number. There was some laps traffic that made us actually pass them rather than letting us just go by, which is their right in that last stint. So I'd actually burnt up the front right a bit more in that stint than I had in any of the others, and so that meant that I had even less under me to try and really go for it in those last 3 or 4 laps when Austin was chasing me down, and I did have clear air when Jonas pitted. So yeah, it didn't really change anything that I was doing. Sure, I was crossing my fingers that maybe Austin never appeared in the mirror, but I think it was kind of inevitable. So yes.
Enough. Well, excellent. We know you're a regular participant in the major series. Where can we expect to see you next? What races are you looking forward to being a part of?
I'll be back in 4 hours to do this again in the Americas region. Which look, to be fair, that's my focus. I'm not a season pass holder for the European region. I came and did this, just to run with a few friends in Fusion and things. But yeah, the real focus is the Americas race later on. Yeah, where I'm my role in that race will be as the support car for the Fusion team. We're going for the team's championship in that. And yeah, we're starting first, second, and fourth at the front of that field. So yeah, just see if we can kind of have a bit of a repeat, go a Fusion 1, 2, 3, same as we have in this race, and yeah, take it from there. Aside from me driving, looking forward to the start of the Sidspeed MEC in September. September 5 for most people in the world, September 6 if you're down here in Australia, New Zealand. Yeah, so new season, 8-hour races. Yeah, that should be good fun. So yeah, anyone's interested in doing some multi-class racing with live stewarding, manually driven safety cars, and physical prizes for podium finishes in all splits, then yeah, come and check out the MEC.
Right on. Well, we appreciate your time. Is there anyone you want to say hello to, give a shout out to before we let you go?
Thanks to Austin for the wicked setup. Yeah, that was pretty cool to have something under me that was clearly the best car on track. Yeah, to just major series in general, Sud Speed, all of the supporters. To you guys, thank you for what you've done. I hope that you found something to talk about at times when we were just going round and round and round and there wasn't really much happening. But yeah, look, thanks to everybody that helps make majors what it is, whether that's admin, driving, broadcasting, all the other roles that people do. Yeah, it's yeah, great to be part of. So yeah, thanks everyone.
Excellent. Well, that was your second place finisher, Garen Batten. Thanks for your time, sir. We appreciate you being with us.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
All right, so that was Garen Batten. Tasted the top step of the podium for a few laps until Austin dashed those hopes away. Just bringing up the team standings as well, since we managed to have a look at the driver standings earlier. And as you can mention, Fusion having a sizable lead in the Euros team standings over Dog Bear Racing. Simrace Sweden Esport as well, on just shy of 3k points. It will be just over once things update. That entry in third being carried quite a bit by, I believe, Hafli Dassen as well. And yeah, as mentioned, we are pretty much at an end here. We've got the Americas race coming up, which should no doubt be of a very big interest to a lot of people. And that will also be broadcast here on the Majors channel. And just again, in case you forgot, we've got now, after this Brickyard 400 race weekend, 4 rounds remaining in the championship. And I think it probably gives us a very good sense of the kind of racing we get here at the Major Series. IndyCar at Laguna, Supercars at Adelaide, Super Formula at Miami Grand Prix, and then the championship finale at Phoenix. So it is a bit of everything. A bit of everything in terms of content of cars and tracks, a bit of everything in terms of the type of racing people can get, a bit of everything in terms of the time slots available to everyone. So if you're on the sidelines watching in, lots of chances to get involved, lots of chances to feature on the broadcast as well. And with that said, I think that will be us for the broadcast. I've been your host, Attore, also known as Khalid Ramadan. I will likely be looking forward to broadcasting in the near future as well. And likewise, we'll be getting a goodbye from our comms man here, Austin, who's been very diligent in doing the broadcast justice. So I'll let him close things out here.
Glad everyone joined us on the YouTube channel. Glad for the participation in the chat. I'm looking forward to hopefully being back for a Laguna Seca race, since Indy cars are my bread and butter. And yeah, for Khalid and myself, everyone enjoy the race this evening, and we'll see y'all